Hi, everyone. My name's Brieanah, and I'm here with my friend Johanna. And we are kicking off a new name this episode. Usually, this would be plant powered. We're adding a little bit, tweaking a little bit. So now we are, drum roll, plant powered business strategies to grow your positive impact.
Yay.
Yay! We're kicking off year 2 strong. And thank you for everyone that gave us feedback on the name. This is truly a community effort. We heard you. We really valued your input. And we're excited. We're excited to grow this into a podcast and expand what we talk about, who we talk to, and hopefully grow your positive impact. So as I said, we're kicking off year 2. We're excited to see where we are in next April. And speaking of reflecting already, we heard your feedback on our last episode too. First, thank you for the congratulations of making it to a full year of plant-powered episodes. We were really excited and happy to see that you're excited. We're continuing this too. Kicking off year 2, we want to bring some of those behind the scenes, those mindset moments to you. It seemed like Johanna's taken perfect action moment really meant a lot to you guys. And so we want to talk more about that. And that inspired this episode. So this episode, we're going to be talking about the importance of defining your why when it comes to your business marketing. We'll talk a little bit about our whys personally, and then our why for expanding plant powered generally, and then really get into the nitty gritty of the strategies behind a why. So first things first, Johanna, I would love to hear some of your background, origin story, if you will. Why plant-based marketing?
Yay. Yeah, thanks for asking. And I can't wait to hear your story as well. And this is really one of my favorite things in the world ever, storytelling and hearing people's whys and stories. It's because it's like the one thing that, well, maybe there are many things, but the one thing that you totally just you have. So yeah, plant-based marketing. Wonder like how far I should go. I guess like
High
I
level.
hope,
We'll get into the nitty
yeah,
gritty in a minute, but like
yeah,
3,000 foot
uh,
view.
yeah. I mean, I've always loved animals, like always, and stopped eating animals at some point when I was a teenager. When I had enough, I grew up in a like farming environment, so I really saw what it was, and at some point I couldn't take it anymore. The second thing is I've always loved languages and communication and writing, and that's how I ended up studying English at university and translation, like English and German. And for the longest time, I was trying to combine my kind of passion for advocacy and animal rights and my love for languages. I worked as a translator for a long time, like about a decade, translating books and stuff. But then at some point, I started to get this feeling like I can do more or something different or like make a bigger positive impact because Finnish is a small language. And there were only so many kind of value aligned jobs that I could take on. So I started exploring ways to improve as a writer, and that's how I discovered copywriting, and through that the marketing world, and yeah, like many things have happened since then, but and it's just kind of like I jumped into this amazing rabbit hole, and it just keep going like deeper, and it just keeps giving more and more like ideas how to change the world. So that's it in a nutshell.
I
uh,
love that. That's really a great origin story. Good job keeping it high level. That's tough.
yeah, thank you. I've written it down a few times, so I'm getting there. Like how
You've
far.
got it down now. Yeah. Well, part of why we wanted to share these is so, people could find a little bit to identify with us as we grow into a podcast and we start doing different things. Because really in the movement, especially, we all have similar ways into it, even if it's from completely different angles. So thank you for sharing. Um, for me, and because it was just Mother's Day in the US, I have to thank my angel mother for giving me exposure
Mhm.
to animal protection at a young age. So we would always volunteer together, observe wildlife together. Animals were always a big part of my life growing up. She raised me vegetarian, so I'd never had meat. But in 2017, after I graduated law school, started working on the legal side of animal protection and was in as part of that investigating some of the behind the scenes on factory farms and livestock raising on public lands, and saw just how awful it was, even if you were a vegetarian, how much animals suffer. So it was pretty easy from there to cut out all animal products, whether in diet or in lifestyle. Um, yeah, so that was my transition into being vegan versus vegetarian, but animal rights, animal protection, environmental protection has always been like a through line for me.
Mhm.
Um, and so as I mentioned, I went to law school. I
Yeah.
did practice. I'm still barred. But during the pandemic, did a lot of soul searching, to be completely honest, and realized law wasn't fulfilling. Even though I was in my dream job, I was litigating and lobbying on behalf of wild horses, like absolute dream job. If 5-year-old Brie could have picked a job, it would have been that. Um, but I had this creative side of me
Mm.
that felt neglected almost. So I found Alex on YouTube, Alex Catoni from the Copy Posse, and took her courses and started learning about copywriting. I was one of those that was told marketing is sleazy and it's manipulative. And so I never wanted to go into advertising because I was empathetic. I didn't want to manipulate people. And so I was like, oh, that's not for me. But the way that she taught it really aligned with that empathetic side of me, that nonprofit heart-centered work that I love doing. Um, so I took her courses and eventually transitioned and said, okay, I'm gonna try this and try to be a freelancer. So I work with nonprofit clients and businesses from that heart-centered place. And like you, Johanna, we are trying to reform the way that products, services, and organizations are talked about. Um, it doesn't have to be sleazy. Marketing doesn't have to be scary. You can really empathize with people and have normal conversations that are still considered marketing. And that intersection is what I find really interesting. Um, yeah, so that's how I ended up in plant-based marketing. Is diet change means a lot to me, animal protection, environmental protection mean a lot to me, and finding this outlet for my creative side. It all lined up.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like yeah, I just love it how different backgrounds can lead to uh like such a similar place. Like I totally like I was just nodding in my head when you shared about like how you felt about marketing before and then discovering Alex, who's like both of our like mentor and teacher. And has your why or the has it changed over the years? I mean, for both of us, it's animals, and like, I mean, for like, I personally would kind of phrase it as like liberating them from like oppression, and like, I mean, there are many ways to put it into words, and the tools kind of to do that for me have like my my adult life has been this kind of process of trying to find the right tools, and they've been changing over the years, but I got a bit lost in my thoughts, but yeah, like how has the why change or like the angle a little bit over
Yeah.
the years for you?
Yeah, I think so. And I think I have my time as a lobbyist perhaps to thank for that. So part of the work that I did when I was practicing, meant meeting stakeholders in the issue. And I saw how other groups approached those conversations, and they were very combative. There was a lot of like, we're right, you're wrong happening on all sides. But whenever we were able to just let people be heard, that's when progress was made. Was
Mm,
it perfect progress? No. But it was better than no progress. And anyone that knows the wild horse issue knows that there's very little beneficial progress happening. um, for a little context, the federal government in the US rounds up wild horses and burros with helicopters,
mm,
remove them from their homes to make room for livestock grazing on public lands, even though they're federally protected wild animals, and then stores them in inhumane long-term holding facilities. So it's heartbreaking
mm,
work, but there's a lot to be done, and there's a lot of voices in the issue, and there's a lot of loud voices. There's a lot
mm,
of powerful voices. So I think during my time there, I saw the value of communication, and
mm,
that's what
yeah,
like planted that seed of like there's something here. Like there's an angle to figure out the way to talk to people, the way to resonate with people, the way to put people at ease, to bring people in so they're leaning into the conversation, not backing up. And eventually got to a point where litigation wasn't that, because you're in a courtroom literally fighting
yeah,
for the side that you were hired to do, right? So I started to kind of fall out of love with the legal angle, and wanted to lean more into the comms angle, and see the power in that. And yeah, so that transition for sure has changed, since becoming a copywriter. Yeah. How about
yeah,
you? Have
yeah.
your tools changed?
So when I think about the how the why has changed or how I approach the topic, it's I think one of the biggest issues or like changes for me. I think I kind of mentioned it in the last episode also, but because I'm like I am or used to be like pretty shy and introverted and kind of like didn't like to put myself out there or be very visible and everything. And it was always about the kind of movement first. So that has changed for me. So I remember like when I think my first year in copywriting when I was thinking about like what would be like an ideal client or scenario for me. And I was really thinking, okay, if I find like a cool organization or business that's doing amazing things in the world, and I get to be behind the scenes writing for them, like I still wouldn't say no to this, but it's been such an interesting kind of the development inside my head as I've gotten more comfortable with like what I want to do on my own voice and like my own face and because like I had to struggle so hard to get from this kind of like activist mentality into like okay I am a business owner and like this is part of my activism. And so now it's like I'm so excited about the idea or the kind of dream to help so many more people who are in a similar situation kind of find their this power or their
Yeah.
voice. And that it's not just about one like big company or business that I can help, but that maybe I could actually help like many more people and somehow like when like start building this community or like a movement of vegan business owners or ethical entrepreneurs who are like have enough of business as usual and want to like really like shake things up. And if I can help them on the way, like I'm really excited about that at the moment. And it's of course just like one part. Like I want to make a positive impact in many ways, but I think that's been like big for me.
Yeah, yeah. I totally see that. Thank you for sharing. And I think that's a great transition into talking about why. I gotta figure
Yeah.
out a better way to say that, but why the why is so important. So could you continue on this train and kind of explain to our listeners why they need to define that?
Yeah, so well, many many reasons. I think really like asking yourself like why why you started your business or why you do what you do is like one of the most important questions you can ask yourself, and also share with others, because it's kind of like I see it as the like driving force behind what you do. um, and it's different from like what you do and how you do it. Kind of, it's not just your products or services, but really the fuel behind it, or yeah, like the sustainable fuel or whatever. Like, um,
Yeah.
and I think like it's interesting. It's like your why, your story. It deserves to be shared just because it's there, like because it's you. It's real. It makes you like more human too, as opposed to like a faceless brand. Because people are naturally curious about other people. Like we want to make sense of the world and people around us, and like so I think at best, um, your why, it's like this compelling story that kind of like pulls the right people to you. So there's a couple of things.
Absolutely. I think my favorite like synopsized way to say it to people that are like, "Oh, it's not about me," or because you hear that a lot when you work with nonprofit leaders. "Oh, no, 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 it's not about me. I
Mm.
don't want to share my story." Like, people buy from other people.
Yeah,
People support other people. So it does matter. Even if you are like very heart led and you're just like, no, I just want to help people. Like I just want to put my product out there because I know it'll help people and it'll speak for itself. They don't need to know me. Why'd you create the product? Why are you inspired to help those people? Like really identify with them and let them know that like you get them and you created this for them. And when that comes from you and something very core to your identity, like we shared in the beginning of our stories of our background, our childhoods, I'm sure there are listeners that are like, oh yeah, I grew up eating meat too, Johanna, and I quit when I was a teenager too because of similar reasons, and so people are going to identify with your story because it's
yeah,
similar to theirs. The same thing goes when you're trying to sell a business. I mean, just think about when you're building friendships, right? You bond over common interests, common
yeah,
experience. Like friends from school, you were friends because you were in class every day. That's a common experience, right? So the more that you can share those common experiences, those common feelings, the common purpose, the why, the more you resonate with someone, and the more they're likely to trust you, support you, and want to be a part of your orbit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. It's really like human psychology. Like it's how we function, and for me, I want more like human-centered businesses that are there for, that are there to help animals and like all of us. And yeah, like I just like, yeah, I think it's just like really like valuable, as it is, but also like there's really kind of strategic reasons behind it. It makes good business sense.
Yeah.
And also like your story like helps you kind of stand out from everybody else. Like I'm not really a fan of this thinking that we're like, we have all these competitors and you need to distinguish yourself from your competitors. But like, I mean, there are a lot of options out there, and um, depending on what you do, but it really helps you, yeah, stand out. And I mean, all of these kind of reasons that we're going over here, they're kind of like interlap. But that kind of ties in there too, that it, yeah, helps people see themselves in what you do. Uh,
Exactly. I mean, think about it. That's part of why you and I chose Alex to be our
hmm,
copywriting mentor. We resonated with the more empathetic approach that she took to marketing and messaging. Like
yeah,
instead of the hundreds, if not thousands, of copywriting courses that are out there that will teach you the like, click here, buy now, like pressure tactics, right, that you could go and do for a big company, you and I saw ourselves in Alex and the way that she thought about marketing. We're like, "Oh, yeah, we think about it too," and we didn't like the old style of marketing either, and the more you can get those, like, tiny yeses when you share your story, then you know you're on the right track, right, of standing out and finding your tribe of people. Um, and that only comes when you're open and vulnerable and you
Yeah.
share passion and you share what your unique perspective, because as you said, it's valuable. Your perspective is valuable. What you're offering is valuable. But in order for people to feel that value, you have to let them in.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Kind of like, yeah, tying to this as well, like, because I mean, people make decisions, like buying decision also on emotion, like whether we understand it or not, and all these stories and your why, your purpose, like whatever you want to call it, like being open about it, and also kind of using it as a guiding light. It actually, yeah, again, it makes it makes good business sense because it helps you find the right people, and also it repels people who don't really vibe with what you do, and this is also good because you can't please everybody anyways. So then it's really better to
Totally.
be proudly what you are, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I wanna hit on that for a minute because I don't
yeah.
know about you and your clients, but that's something I hear often, like, when I'm first starting with someone, a new brand, new business, whatever it is, and they're like, "Okay," who I ask who they're talking to, who is their goal customer, right? Well, everyone.
Mm. Ah.
No, no, not
No.
exactly, like, it isn't an everyone, and of course, entrepreneurs are like, "Yeah, I wanna sell to as many people as possible, I wanna help
Mm.
as many people as possible." Totally get that, that's a valid and very aspirational thing, good for you. But marketers are here to, like, reel that in a little bit. At least the good ones will advise you to get very, very clear about who
Mhm.
you're speaking to, and I specificity, clarity, all those things that we've talked about in past episodes, Johanna, I feel like just come to a head when you're talking about your why and the purpose behind your
Mm.
business, your values, your purpose, your mission, what sets you apart, what you're offering that's different. All of that is just gonna narrow and narrow and narrow and narrow until you find your customer avatar right here.
Yeah.
That's who you're speaking to, right? And so it can be so, so scary to share your why, your purpose, all these like founding things for your business, because you feel like you're going to alienate people, and we want to be liked, right? We all need that hit of dopamine when we get a like on our Instagram post. Like we want to be liked, we want the validation. But the truth is, the more that you alienate people, the more you're going to bring people in, because we have like controversy also works in this way where
Mm.
you bring people in, right? So I feel like too, Johanna, and forgive me for going on a little bit of a tangent with this
Yeah, no,
one.
no, go for it. I like.
Um, Plant-based products, services, anything with a vegan label, is alienating in and of itself, at least in the US. I know that it might be better received where you are, and I'd love to hear more about that. But as soon as people mention like, "Oh, it's vegan," people are like, "Do we really need to say that it's vegan?" Like, there's a constant controversy of like, are we alienating people? I mean, just look at Impossible. Impossible just launched this new Impossible plant-based meat for anyone not familiar, but just launched this new campaign where they are just calling themselves meat. It's meat
Ah,
made from plants. So they're not plant-based, they're not vegan, they are, but that's not how they're
yeah.
calling themselves anymore. They are meat. Um, so anyway, it just brings up the like, okay, I mean, they're big enough now where they could broaden, right? And not really make an impact on their
Mm.
bottom line, but I personally, I feel like something like that kind of muddles your brand image, your purpose, your mission, those sorts of things. Like if you are going to be this plant-based product, right? Is that not part of your identity? Is that not part of your why? Why did you choose to make a plant-based product if you're not going to be proud and say this is a plant-based product,
Yeah.
right? Um, so anyway, all that is to say, and I do still want to hear how vegan products are received where you are, Johanna, but all that is to say that if you feel like you're alienating people, good. Like embrace
Yeah.
that uncomfortable feeling because then you're on the right track in sharing
Yeah.
your why and you're getting specific and you're alienating people. Good. Those are not your people. You will
Yeah.
find your people. You will be supported the more that you stick to the path.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a lot. Feel free to comment on any of it.
No, no, no need to apologize. I wanted to like first like to answer your question. It's definitely changed over the years. You see it like if I'm thinking about like food products, for example, like it's definitely moved from the like often or in many cases from the like top of the packaging to the back, or like you see a lot more like plant-based instead of vegan, or like these alternative ways to phrase it. But yeah, I think that's like the short way to put it. But I do think it really depends on the brand, and of course like who they want to like talk to. But I wanted to mention one more thing about the why I think it's important to shout your purpose from the rooftops, or your why, because you get to inspire others. Like I know for myself that when I see like a really amazing, like I don't know, like brand on a mission, like the copy on their website, like I'm so hyped up. I'm like, oh my God, like it's like so cool. Like if they can do it, I can do it. And and you probably like if you're listening to it or watching this, you probably want more like ethical, like purpose driven, like successful businesses out there. Like at best, you could totally inspire like who knows how many other people to be a bit more brave in their messaging, or even like start their business. And because and also like I totally like 100% believe these kinds of businesses are the future. But yeah, at least for me it's been like a massive boost sometimes when I'm like questioning things, to see like people out there bravely owning their like
Yeah.
animal rights activists who've started like a meat or like plant-based burger business, and they're there to revolutionize the like food industry. It's like like heck yeah, like oh my God, it's just like can there be like something like more inspiring? There is, but like it's one of the most inspiring things ever. So I don't know, do you
Oh.
feel the same? Like
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't always, because
mm,
full
yeah,
transparency,
yeah,
because we're telling people to be brave and share their why. And
yeah.
I don't want this to come off preachy at all, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know we both struggled with this when we
Yeah,
started out.
years.
I mean, we started this video series to be seen and to
Yeah.
like practice being seen. Like it is a muscle you have to work, and it will feel uncomfortable to share your
Mm,
story, be that vulnerable and share your story.
yeah.
Um, Especially if you're introverts.
Yeah.
Like it will. But I totally agree that you can inspire people. I know I've gotten messages that are like, especially because we're both coaches, Johanna, we'll get feedback where your story is so inspiring. Like the fact that you went from here and now you're a successful copywriter, whatever it is. Um, and it's because we're open. We
Mm,
share our journey. We share that it wasn't always easy. We share that we doubted if we were going to continue this, if it was going to be successful, if it was viable at times. And so again, I think that's another reason why sharing your story, sharing your passion is so important, is because you will go through valleys of despair.
mm,
It's not always going to be a peak. There will be valleys, and you can bring people in, one, to support you along that, but two, just for you. It reminds you why you started this crazy entrepreneurship journey in the first place. The more you're open with it and the more you repeat it, the more, like, you build that pathway in your brain of, like, "No, I'm doing this because, and it means a lot to me because, and I'm making a difference
Mm.
because," and so you have that narrative to fall back on. Because business isn't easy. Running a nonprofit's not easy.
Yeah.
Being a freelance copywriter is definitely not easy. But we have those narratives of passion and purpose and drive that carry us through those times of like, oh boy, this is gonna be a lean month. I don't know if this was the right choice. Um, so I just want to emphasize, like, yes, share so others are inspired by you and we can build this movement together, but
Mm.
also share for yourself,
Yeah.
to support yourself and be able to inspire yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a good point. Like really such a good point. Um, like one question that I'm also thinking about, like we both kind of go a long long way back when it comes to like standing up for animals and everything. But I was wondering if you've had situations where it's been difficult to kind of like stand behind your why, or where it's
Mm,
values conflicts, or
yeah.
yeah, if you know what
Yeah.
I'm.
I do. I think that's something that all entrepreneurs go through,
Mm.
and perhaps, like, the category to fit it in is you're not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, like, you're not gonna
Yeah.
appeal to everyone, and same goes, they're not everyone is going to be right for you, and especially as service providers, because we provide
Mm.
services to business owners, um, y you I had to learn that dream client doesn't just mean the niche. So it doesn't
Yeah.
just mean the topic. And so, like, you and I are very passionate about plant-based, vegan, animals, everything, right? And so at a certain point, I was just like, yes, you have a vegan beauty product? Absolutely. Like, let's do this. But looking back, that client was not a dream client.
Mm.
Like, our ways of communicating differed, her perception of the value that I provided
Mm.
differed, right? And so that puts strains on the relationship. And it comes to like personal boundary setting that you have to learn, and like ways you want to work and how you want to
Yeah.
run your business. And those sorts of things change and evolve as you learn more. Um, so yeah, I'm sorry, does that answer your
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It does. And yeah, I agree. Like I was totally feeling the same when I became a copywriter. Okay, just like want to work with vegan or plant-based businesses, and but yeah, it's so much about how people show up in their business, like their behavior, and especially communication. Like clear communication is it's like so valuable for me. And like I'm still like I'm not working just with like vegan business owners. Like as long as I feel like our values are aligned, or they're not doing something like awful in the world, and they're like not good people that I enjoy working with, then I'm like more than happy to help. um that
Absolutely.
yeah, that being said, yeah, there are like business types and client, well, they're not clients because I didn't like, but potential clients that I just say no to, even if it's quite a bit of money, but or potentially quite a bit of money, but if it doesn't feel like it's really like against my like values or what I'm here to do. So sometimes that, yeah, mostly it's pretty easy, but it's, yeah, can be tough when, yeah, if it's a lean month, like you said. But I think it's important to remember here too that it's like, you don't need to be perfect with it, and you get to, like, with every client or project or whatever you do, it's like a chance to learn about yourself and your boundaries. And um so
Absolutely. Perhaps one of the easiest ways to just start sharing your story, and one that I used on my journey, was just starting on social media. Just making a post to your friends and family, to your friends, whoever's just on your Facebook page, very casual, and just build that muscle
yeah.
of, hey, I'm starting this thing and here's why I'm excited about it. Um, I feel like a lot of times particularly when it comes to how we show up publicly, we put a lot of pressure on it, right? And just sharing authentically, like today I posted it's my horse's birthday. We're recording this on the 15th and it's Era's birthday. And like the purpose in sharing that with you all is that it just gives some insight into my values and what I
Mm.
care about. And so your why doesn't have to be this profound like mission statement thing. It can just be consistently sharing things that you're passionate about,
Yeah.
snippets from your life, letting people in and being vulnerable. Like I share pictures of her and I identify with other animal owners, like pet owners that let celebrate their birthdays, like it doesn't have to be this big, scary, profound thing. It can be very
Yeah.
casual, very authentic to you and your everyday life.
Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. But like people really love these kind of like behind the scenes like posts, and kind of related to that, I like to think about it's kind of like a guiding light somehow, the your why, because it's it's the things that matter to you, like, and I like, for me it's helpful to keep that in mind, like, 'cause, like when I create content, often, to be honest, it's quite like I like inspiration hits, and then I like start writing something, and then it's kind of there, like yeah, helping me like direct my writing. And like a second tip, to everybody listening and watching. I mean, of course, your about page, like, or if you have a website, like, I mean, you don't necessarily need to have a website, but I love a good about page, and I would love to see more of them. And like, you can even write a long story, like it doesn't need to be just a few sentences or paragraphs. So yeah, because it,
Absolutely.
yeah, like, again, like it just helps people see you and how you got to where you are. Um,
Totally.
well,
And so, if you're struggling with where to start and you're like, okay, I don't have a website or I'm not ready to show up on social media, um, what would we say to people that are like, okay, I'm just starting out, just started my business. I don't even know what I would say. Like
mm,
all the thoughts are jumbled in my head. I'm not a writer, like all the things that we've heard clients say to us.
mm,
I feel like as we get towards the end of this episode, I want to leave
yeah,
them with some little nuggets of inspiration to start their journey to defining their why. Um, I think for me, it would be to schedule time where it's just you and a notebook or just you and your
mm,
phone for a voice memo, like take a walk or light a candle and snuggle up in your favorite chair, whatever is your happy place, and just let your mind wander. What
yeah,
were your dreams? Like why even go down this road of starting a business, and just let it percolate, record what you're saying
mm,
or write down your thoughts as they come, whatever works for you. But that free thinking, that free writing, you'll be surprised what comes through when you don't have
yeah,
distractions and when you kind of let yourself go without judgment. That's where I would start. What
yeah.
about you?
I love that so much, and the advice I would give is very similar, basically just like repeating what you said. I think this quiet time with yourself, it's so valuable, like, just because I get I feel like I get a lot of my like best ideas when I'm just like walking around with my dog, or just like staring at the wall, and like because I do spend too much time on my phone and like on screens.
Yeah.
And yeah, journaling, like, yeah, put nice music and start writing, and go a little bit further than you want to, because I think you need to get that like first page or whatever out of the way, like this block, at least for me it's like that, and then the stuff starts to come.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And if you are still self-conscious about it even after that journaling, then take a friend to dinner or sit down with your significant other and say, "Hey, like I just did this brainstorming. Can I just
Hmm.
word dump at you and see what their response is?" Like
Yeah,
someone that knows you well will have thoughts, right? And as long
yeah,
as you don't let them shape what you actually want to say, you just take feedback and see how it's received. That could be really beneficial too.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's yeah, our invitation to everybody, like to take a little bit of time if you feel like this is something that you might like maybe struggle a little bit or want some more clarity on, like take a bit of time and um, with yourself and your dreams and visions, like you might be surprised with what comes up. And we'd love to
Yes.
hear like if if you have anything to share with us after.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. If you
Yeah.
do a little brainstorming and you're like, I think I have something kind of cool, put it out there, write an email,
Mm.
write a social media post, just comment on this post or send it to us, whatever it is, whatever feels like getting it out there in the world, we would love to see it. If you
Yeah.
do post it anywhere on social media, be sure to tag us so we can cheer you on and celebrate your why as you refine it and as you start sharing with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, before we go, one thing just came to my mind, Brieanah. I wanted to ask you, when I shared in another, well, in a group that we've hit 1 year with Plant Powered, somebody asked me like, how did you do it? Because it's really hard to keep like projects going, as we all know. And I shared that I was like really thinking about it, and then I was like, accountability. You like the fact that I'm not doing it alone. I think that's the biggest reason for me. And I just actually wanted to hear what do you think? Like, why
Yeah.
do you think you made it? We made it.
Well, definitely accountability for sure.
Yeah,
It helps when you have someone that you're going through all the
yeah,
scary things with and have someone to bounce the questions and ideas off of, right? And you get a better product out of it. But I don't want to say that and then have solopreneurs be like, oh, I don't have anybody. Because Johanna and I also have our separate businesses. Like we do
mm,
this together, but we have businesses separately from this where we have to be our own
yeah,
self-motivators, right? But still, in support of those ventures, we have community that will rally behind us. So again, I think it's been a theme through this episode that lean in and open up and let people in, let people be inspired by you, be inspired by
mhm,
people, have those conversations. Don't be afraid to alienate people, take risks. Like I think, um, for me too, like back when we started this, one of our big motivators was to support the plant-based movement generally. And we were trying to figure out what that would look like, where we would go with that. But that through line, that why was supporting the movement. And so again, it kind of this
mm,
series exemplifies why defining your why
mhm.
is so important. Because it can be a motivation.
Yeah,
To keep going, even if you're only hitting like 10 people, that's 10 people. That's 10
yeah,
people. Those are 10 lives that are impacted by what you're saying, like that are inspired by your story. Like I think all too often, specifically in the marketing or freelance world generally, there are these like benchmarkers like 10K months
mm,
and 100,000 followers. And okay, sure, but that's all arbitrary. Like, sure, that would be great to hit. Why not? But what matters is that you're making an impact for that client,
yeah,
that you made an impact for one other person.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so I don't want people to get like bogged down and, oh, this isn't a success. I only had 2 people sign up for my coaching. You had 2 people sign up for your coaching. Like a little reframe there.
yeah,
So
wow,
support accountability and like checking yourself on those reframes when you start to get down and comparing yourself to others that are ahead of you on your journey.
yeah,
Like, no, I'm doing awesome. I had 2 people, like be your own cheerleader.
yeah.
Check yourself and make sure you're reframing things that are in a positive way, and that'll keep you going too.
Yeah. Wow, I love that so much. And like final thing on that, I just got this like picture in my head, like imagine like 5 people in a room with you all going like, yay, go you. Like, I mean, it's like, that's would probably feel pretty amazing. So
Right, right. Yeah, don't knock your success. It's awesome. Whatever level it is, whatever that looks like, you all are awesome. And thank you for hanging out with us for this episode of Plant Powered Business. Um, we will be on a podcast soon. We're hoping to launch that at the end of May. So keep an eye on our LinkedIn. We will let you know when that goes live, so you can follow us there as well. As always, we super appreciate your support. And we will be back next month with a new episode, hopefully an interview. So stay tuned for that. You won't want to miss it. Till then, bye.
bye, thank you.